Welcome back. So nice to have you here again. So in today's session, let's learn about inheritance in Python and let's get started. So first of all, what is inheritance? So inheritance, it's like passing special features from one generation to another. So let's say we have father, son, and grandson. So here, this father, he has a land of 1 acre, and then this land is being passed to his son as an inheritance. So now the son is also the owner of this land. Okay. And also this son also had a son again. So now the new grandson also have this special feature, right? This 1 acre land. So basically inheritance is nothing but passing down of special characteristic from one level to another level, one generation to another generation. So in Python, how do we work with inheritance? So let's say we have a class, a base class. So in this case, this father is a base class here or a super class in Python. So the new class in this case, let's say we don't have grandson. So in this case, like father and son, in the case of this father and son, so father is the super class and this is the subclass. Okay. So in Python, we have this super class. In this case, it is father. And then we have a subclass. In this case, it is son. So we're getting an error. Let me just say pass so that we can avoid this error. It should be father. And I can say here father. Okay, so this means that this is a class which is called a super class. So this will have certain feature. So in our case, we can say a father has total land. If I say he has 300, like let me use it in a string, let's say 300 acres, right? Now if I create an instance of this son, let's say son equal to son, and if I print son dot total land, if I run this code, you see we have 300 acres. But we didn't write anything here, right? How does that work? That means, so this class son has passed down some special feature of this father, okay? Also, let's create a new object of father. Let's say dad equal to father. Let's print dad. Let's print dad dot total land. Let's run this code again. And you see we still have 300 acres. That means father has some features, some attributes or some methods. So that attributes will get passed to the son or to the subclass. So this is a superclass. So this is a subclass. Okay. So let's define a print method. Let's say def print. Let's say print. Let's say display, right? Because we may mix up with the print method. So let's say display f the total land area is, now let's say how much. So we should have self here, right? Because it's an instance method. Let's say self, then we should say self dot total land. So now what I can say, let me remove this code, but let me just comment it. Now what I can say is, I can say son dot display, I can say dad dot display. So let's run this code again. So you see, we have the total land area is 300 acres and the total land area is 100 acres, right? So let's remove this pass now. So let's have another method here. We'll say girlfriends, right? Or we'll say number of girlfriends equal to 2. So now I can have here another instance method. Let's say print gf girlfriend count, right? If I say this, let's have itself here. Print the number of gf are, let's say self dot number of girlfriends. So if I say son dot print gf count, so this in this case, so if you can see, where do we define this print gf count? Where is this instance method? So this is present inside the class son, right? So if I run this code, so you can say the number of girlfriends are 2. But if I try to do the same with, now you see father object has no attribute print gf count. That means only the attributes from the superclass will be passed down to the subclass, but no properties or no attributes from the subclass will be passed to the superclass or the base class. Okay, so this is a concept of inheritance. So let me take another example. So let me comment all these. Okay, so let's create another new class. Let's say class polygon. Let's have a constructor here, def init, and you can say it will take number of sites. And here let's say self dot number of sites equal to number of sites, and we can say self dot sites is equal to 0 for I in range number of sides. So let's say we have each sides. So number of sides in polygon can be 3 or more. So let's say we have 3. Then if the number of sides is 3, so we create a range from the number of sides and we assign initial value to be 0 for each of the sides, right? So now let's take an input. Let's say def input size self. So what will this method do is it will take a user input and the user will be able to input the size of the sides, right? So what we can say, let's say self dot size is equal to, we'll use list comprehension. So first let's loop through the range. Let's say for I in range self dot number of sides. So let me just copy this. Okay, so now what I can say here is, let's say for each of the side, let's say float, let's convert it to the float, and let's say let's take the user input and we'll say enter the side, and we can say, I think it's better to use an f string. Let's say f string, enter the side, and we can say str, and let's say I plus 1. So what we can say is, let's say like this. Okay, so that means what we are doing here is we are taking an input for all the sides. Let's say the number of sides is 5, then we are taking the input of 5 sides. Let's say we have a number of sides is 3, then we are taking an input of 3 sides. So this will make sense once we execute this function. So for now, let's continue. Let's have another method which will display the sides, right? Let's say def display sides self. So we can say for I in range self dot number of sides, and we can say print, we can say f string side I plus 1 is, and let's say self dot sides of the index. Okay, so here let's have a deep understanding of what exactly this polygon is doing. So we have this polygon class. Basically, when we initialize this polygon class, it will take a number of sides. So for each number of sides, we are assigning a sides with a initial value of 0. Okay, we also have a method of input sides. Basically, what will this do is it will take an user input from the, like, it will take the size of the side from the user, it will take an input and it will save to the sides. Okay, and then we have another method which says display sides. So what will this do is it will basically go and display the sides. Okay, now let's create a subclass. So this is a base class. So let me just add a comment here, base class. Now let's have a subclass. Okay, so now let's create another class. Let's say class of triangle. It will inherit polygon, and inside this let's create a constructor. Init will have a self, and we'll say polygon dot init will pass self, and will pass the number of sides in triangle is 3, right? So now let's define a method that will print the area. Let's say find area, it will take self, and let's say a comma b comma c equal to self dot sides. So what we're doing here is we are using the property destructuring. So we are destructuring the sides because we have said triangle will have 3 sides. So we have used destructuring and we are assigning the sides to a, b, and c. So now let's calculate the area. Let's say side is equal to a plus b plus c by 2. This is a formula to find the area of triangle. So we can say s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c to the power 0.5. Okay, so if you can see, we have this, we have find the average side. So basically this is a formula for calculating the area. So now we can say, let's say print the area of the triangle is, you can say percent 0.2 f, and you can use here percent area. Okay, so now we have a base class of polygon. It has certain properties, and we created a new class triangle which is also a polygon. It will pass down the feature of all polygon, but it will have its own method of finding an area. Okay, so let me just add a comment here. So this is semi perimeter, and here we are calculating the area by using the Heron's formula. Okay, so now let's create an instance of the triangle class. How can we see that? So it's very simple. It's t is equal to triangle, and then now what I can say is t dot input sides. So I need to give the sides, and now I can say t dot display sides, and I can find the area, t dot find area. Okay, so that means from where did we get this input size and this display size? We get this from the polygon class. We are inheriting it, so we'll get those all those properties. And where did we get this find area? We get this find area from the subclass itself, from the triangle class itself. So let me run this. I did some typo, so it should be here number of sides. So sorry for that. And let's run this code again. So now let's enter the side. So the first side will be 10, the second side will be 30, and the third side will be 12. But here it says that must be a real number, not complex. So I think we did a mistake somewhere here. Okay, so let's run this code. Let's enter the side. Let's say 10, 12, 13. So you can see the side 1 is 10, side 2 is 12, and side 3 is 13. And the area of the triangle is 57. This is the magic of inheritance. So I can define the method in the class itself. I can inherit the methods from the base class. So these are the benefits. Okay. So let's say in this polygon class, in the base class, we have this display size, right? So now I want to display this side. I want to implement the size by itself here. So let me say def. So I can write display size. So here, instead of displaying the sides like this, I want to display the sides in, let's say, print the sides are, and I can use self dot sides. I just want to print the list of the sides, right? So if I run this code, let's say again 10, 11, 12. So now you see the sides are 10, 11, and 12. So I am overriding the method of the parent class in the base class. Okay, so this concept is called method overriding. Okay, so we can also use the super keyword. What we can say here super, and we can say dot display size. So now I can also call the methods from the parents and also have its own implementation. So let me run this code. Let's say 10, let's say 11, let's say 12. Okay, so here you see. So we are getting this from the parent, but we are getting this from the child, which is a base class, right? So this way we can also use the super keyword. So when we say super, it basically means the parent class. So in today's session, we learn about inheritance is, what superclass is, what a base class is. We also learn about inheritance by taking example. We have a class son and we have this father class. It has certain attributes and the son was able to inherit those attributes. And also we take an example of another class called polygon. We learn how we can reuse the code. So we have certain methods here. And in the base class, when we create an object, we are able to access all the methods defined in this base class. And also we are also able to override the method and also call the super methods by using this super keyword. So I think this is it from this session. Hope to see you in another session.